Welcome back to Vegas and the World Series of Bowling. 2 weeks ago, Bill O'Neill dominated in the Pepsi Viper Championship. Today, O'Neill is back in a final. The lone American in a stepladder full of international players at the PBA Scorpion Championship. Two of those foreign invaders are South Koreans Eugene McCune and #1 seed Jun-Young Kim. Not much is known about the mysterious coup, other than the fact that he has quietly knocked off some of the PBA's best here at the World Series of Bowling. South Koreans Koo and Kim, Australian Jason Belmonte, and Canadian Dan McClellan. It's Bill O'Neill versus the world here in Las Vegas. Over 250 professional bowlers from 14 different countries, bowling on 5 different oil patterns, have invaded Las Vegas to be part of an event unlike any other in sports. The PBA World Series of Bowling. It's the ultimate test. 6 PBA Tour titles, all decided in a 5-man stepladder format, with an uninterrupted championship match each week. It all leads up to the main event, January's PBA World Championship, the first major of the season. It's the PBA versus the rest of the world. And it all continues now.
Today, the World Series of Bowling rolls on from Las Vegas, 3 weeks into the PBA season, and we've had 3 different winners. Today, our first chance for a repeat titleist as Bill O'Neill looks to take the Scorpion Championship. And we welcome you inside the South Point Hotel and Casino. Rob Stone joined by 13-time titleist Randy Peterson. Today's show is kind of the PBA's version of a trip to Epcot Center. We have 4 different countries represented here on today's show. So how does the international flavor translate to the lanes today?
Well, the lanes are going to get beat up today because there's so much power on the telecast. And I think what we're seeing is that the power game is no longer just the U.S. style, it's become a world style. And we're going to see that today with a 2-handed power player in Jason Belmonte from Australia. You'll also see it in Dan McClellan from Canada. And our #1 seed, Mr. Kim from South Korea. All power players. They're really going to beat up this oil pattern, but a lot of fun to watch all that power go down the lane.
The bowling world getting just a little bit smaller. Your lone American, Bill O'Neill, he may be the best bowler on the planet right now.
I think you're right, Robin. When he won his first title at last year's World Series, you knew great things were going to happen because he was making a lot of telecasts, but he wasn't winning. He won his first title then, and he went on to win the U.S. Open, and he really took his game to new heights, and he proved that at this year's World Series.
And we bring in Kimberly Pressler now for more on this historic bowling summit. Kimberly?
That's right, Rob, because for the first time in history, there is only one American going for a PBA title on U.S. soil. He's going up against a group of invaders from across the world. We have 2 Koreans, Kim and Koo, and then we have PBA pro Dan McClellan from Canada and Australian-born Jason Belmonte, who is on the tour and a very good friend of Bill O'Neill. In fact, they're such good friends, they're sharing a house here in Las Vegas during the World Series of Bowling.
Thanks, Kimberly. Here's Mike J. laneside with the introduction.
The #5 player is a 3-time collegiate All-American from Saginaw Valley State representing Canada. Dan the Man, Dan McClellan.
D-Mac steps up, and then a victory by Dan would equal the first Canadian to win a Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour title. And you and I were talking off camera before the show, Randy, and this is a young talent you really enjoy watching and have high aspirations for.
Without question. Wait till you see this style. It's one of the most pure stroking power games you'll ever see.
Wow, does he bring that ball back?
Big high backswing, but very much in control, in great balance at the bottom of the swing and at the foul line.
Who do you think brings it back further, Dan or Michael Fagan?
That's pretty close. They're both almost vertical.
Yeah. So his first frame on American television translates into a spare.
The number 4 qualifier made a charge from 14th position during match play, representing Korea, Eugene McCune.
He looks like kind of a cross of an Asian Pete Weber with the glasses and then somebody from Tron with that huge left wrist brace. It's a dangerous combination, if you ask me. That's how you start. Take a look at the arsenal of Eugene McCune today.
Anarchy and theory. Theory on the right lane, anarchy on the left lane, both with the same amount of hook rating. Two different bowling balls, two different reactions, though.
Back-to-back opening jacks for the Korean.
Did you mention that Koo is 48 years old?
Doesn't look it. Look at this thing. It's like the bionic bowler over there. I mean, Mike Scroggins has a big wrist contraption. That thing dwarfs it.
I like the Tron reference.
You do?
Pretty cool, yeah.
I pulled that one out just for you. So here is the Canadian, Dan McClelland, native of Windsor, Ontario, Canada, just over the border from the Detroit, Michigan area. DMAC, frame number 2. Oof! 7-10.
And what a rude welcome to television for Dan McClelland. This is a great shot, and I've always said that I think a pocket 710 is the worst break in bowling because you throw a good shot, it has the possibility of striking, and now you're looking at an open frame. It's not just the 7 or the 10, it's both. Only 3 players in the history have ever made this on television.
Good effort, Dan. Got a good kick.
That was really close.
Slugs the 10 and gets a great kick. Oh!
I mean, that came within an inch of making it.
Well, it is a game of inches when you really start breaking things down. How close that was for Dan. So spare open frame for the Canadians. We begin the third.
Pure physics is what he's using.
Messenger kicks 1. Can't drop the 10. Not the start McClelland was hoping for, clearly. McClelland keeps his composure, gets the spare, and we'll delve into the academic side of McClelland and how it cut into his Vegas activities when our coverage of the Scorpion Championship returns to Vegas. The World Series of Bowling on ESPN is brought to you by the makers of Bear Aspirin, Bear. Golden Corral, help yourself to happiness. Hammer Bowling, nothing hits like a hammer. Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. Glad you're back here with us at the South Point Hotel and Casino here in Las Vegas as ESPN's presentation of the World Series of Bowling rolls on. Time now for this week's edition of the Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood.
The Scorpion oil pattern is 41 feet in length and is the second longest pattern we use out here on tour. Now look for the players to go fairly straight early on, but as the lane oil goes through transition, look for the players to jump way in immediately. A lot like what we've seen in past weeks with the Viper and Chameleon oil patterns. But the big difference is that the Scorpion is so much longer than those other patterns that when the players do move in, they must keep their angles much straighter and much tighter through the front part of the lane. One other note, we do have only one southpaw on the telecast today, Eugene McCune. He'll have the whole left side of the lane to himself.
All right, Randy, while we were away, and McClellan in the 4th. Left that, and then in the 5th, unable to drop all 10 again. Eugene McCune, the lefty from South Korea, getting all 10 to drop there.
And here in the 4th frame, Rob throwing a different bowling ball on that left lane. Nice shot out of his hand, but it drifts high, leaving a 6-pin. Back to the right lane. Different ball. Different result. Goes light. Back to the left lane again. And that's 10 in the pit.
So Koo, after a hot start, has calmed down a little bit, but the Canadian, McClellan, still seeking his first strike on national television. A rough start for Danny Mac. That open frame in the 2nd really hurting him, but he's been surrounded by 9 spares since that. Needs a strike, needs to get himself into this game down 33 as he closes out the 6th.
And he has made a ball change.
There you go.
Anyway, D-Mac.
Nice. Still a student at Saginaw Valley State. He's not on the team because his bowling eligibility up. He's taking 4 classes right now, total of 12 credits, a full course load. He's taken 2 criminal justice classes, 2 in sociology. He'll graduate in May, and he was telling us, Randy, he's been very busy academically this week. Had to cram for 4 quizzes just the other day prior to his effort here at the Scorpion Championship. And here's Dan's arsenal for the day.
Well, he switched from pure physics to the outburst.
Come on! 2 in a row for the Canadian.
Boy, that's a huge break. He needed that. He needed something good to happen. He makes the ball change, makes the adjustment, makes 2 really good shots. This ball here just a little late turning the corner, and this is a huge double to get Dan right back in this match. I got to tell you, Rob, I've known this kid for a short while now, and I'm really, really high on Dan McClellan. I think he just may be a superstar someday out on this tour. He's got a great head about him. He's a great kid, and I think physically he's got all the tools.
How about great bowling talent coming to the PBA courtesy of Saginaw Valley State? Your number 3 seed coming up next, Bill O'Neill, also from Saginaw Valley State. Here is the South Korean Koo, your 4 seed. Strike number 5 for Koo. So just when you thought he was going to leave an opening for McClellan, he starts to shut it with a double there.
Yeah, he just won't take his foot off the accelerator. Nice little shot here. Rips that rack, and he likes it. If he gets 4 in a row, though, Rob, do you think he knows about the ham bone?
If he does not yell out ham bone in Korean, I'm going to have him deported immediately. That's the power I hold. Whoa. Can we call it a Brooklyn? Can we call it a Seoul?
Man, if you're Dan McClellan, that's a really, really hard thing to watch. You know, you're already trailing in the match, and then your opponent's working on a double, pulls one dead right, and goes high flush Brooklyn.
He'll take it. And the lefty from South Korea takes a seat.
Takes his shades off.
Yeah, he's dropped 2 3-baggers already here in match number 1. The deficit at 43.
Nice shot.
So Danny Mac on the PBA Tour today, but classes still on his mind.
Still in school, yes. I graduate in May. I'll have a bachelor in sociology. I started a little later. I started when I was 20, going on 21. I'm not one of the brainiacs. I like to have fun and sometimes push aside my homework. But last few years, been getting it done and just want to graduate, get out and bowl full time, basically.
Take a look at the high backswing. There's the rotation, that hand and wrist snap right at the bottom of the swing. That's what creates power. pitch high, leaving the fourth.
So Koo steps up, working on a three-bagger. His lead at 34 as he gets set to close out the ninth. Again, 4 international players on our 5-man show today. Another Korean, Jun Young Kim, your #1 seed. Jason Belmonte, the two-handed wonder from Australia, is your 2 seed. And here's your 4 seed, Koo, also from South Korea. Say it. Say it, Koo. Say it. Ham bone.
I want you to take a look at this form, and Koo, not a very big man, but he does what some of the shorter players do, and that's they get their feet going. These feet have to get going to create ball speed. Keeps his head down, nice balance at the foul line, hits his target. And again, crossing over or through the nose on that left lane. So right now the match is over. He's won, he's moving on. He just needs to figure out this left lane.
We talked with some of the other pros on the tour about Koo, and they weren't completely enamored with his style and his scoring pace. I don't think a lot of people had high expectations for him making the TV show and then going beyond, but well, he's looked very much in control from the get-go here today.
Yeah, he really has. And you're right, you know, he's got kind of an unassuming style. It's not that real flashy power player that, you know, we're used to watching week in and week out here on tour, but hey, you know what? This guy stepped up in position round, bowled a big game, went around a couple of bodies just to make the show, and now he's making the best of it.
Think about all the things he has to overcome. You know, he comes from South Korea to here in Las Vegas. Language issues, food issues, everything. And here he is on his American TV debut, winning and moving on. Up next, Bill O'Neill. He already claimed the Viper Championship 2 weekends ago. Today, he tries to make it a double for the young Caesar.